everybody, welcome back to the OJ podcast. I'm Olivia, that's Jamie, and you're in the presence of a very happy George fan as we talk about the Singapore GP. Woo! Totally normal, not dramatic race at all.
Yep, nothing happened. Just like always, nothing happens.
Now, the race itself, Jamie, I did find kind of boring, but the drama discussion is a good conversation.
You saw eventually in my text messages that I was begging for a safety car, so...
Yeah. It got better towards the end, I would say.
Yeah, it definitely did.
We have a lot to talk about on the end and the start and, nothing in the middle.
Yeah. So, for free practices, I got very little notes. Most of the drivers were testing out the cooling vests because the cooling vests were required this weekend because there was a heat hazard. So either you were wearing a cooling vest or you had a certain amount of weight added to your car to counter everyone else who has the cooling vest because it's like...
Yeah, not every driver used cooling vests. I know Max didn't.
Lando didn't.
I know George did. I know
Oscar did. Charles did.
I don't know. Did Charles wear one?
Mm-hmm. I was kind of...
The ones who wear it...
Nico did. I was kind of, eyeing all of them as they were, walking around the grid. But, anyways, the Williams of Alex, caught fire. His brakes caught fire. He was in the... it caught fire out of the pit lane, but he was in the pit lane. They thought he was fine.
That's exactly what happened to Carlos a little while ago, but after a formation lap or something, because Carlos also had his brakes catch fire.
But yeah.
Yeah, what's up with your brakes, William? Figure it out.
They literally brought him into the garage.
It was a mess this weekend after their beautiful Magic Unicorn race, and I'm sad about it.
Yeah.
I have a theory though. I have a theory.
What's the
Did
theory?
you see that they got advertised by the crypto thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it offset the power of the unicorn.
Yeah. I did see all of that theories.
Yep. It can't be a coincidence, I'm sorry.
Oscar was on one all weekend when it came to being very sassy.
He was a sassy boy.
He accused Ferrari of not being good at checking their mirrors. Or... good at...
I have some other drivers I'd accuse of not checking their mirrors. That's just me.
And then Oscar kind of tapped the wall, but that was pretty much it in Free Practice 1. Free Practice 2 has a little bit more drama. It starts off, Gabby goes wide into the runoff, Kimmy goes into the runoff after a lockup, and then George goes into the wall.
Listen, George has not made it through a Singapore GP, I feel like, since he started.
Without crashing.
Maybe a little after he started, but for the past, 4 or 5 years, he has crashed at least once
in the weekend, yeah.
And this is his first time crashing in over a year.
I wrote Toto side-eyeing George / the camera. Obviously a red flagged after that, and then Liam went into the wall and, pulled off his front wheel, so he also red flagged. And those were 2 lovely crashes in Free Practice 2. Free Practice 3, Liam hits the barriers again. This was, halfway through, though. Nothing really happened before then. Carlos went into the runoff. Alex followed his teammate and also went into the runoff just a few laps later. Hamilton was investigated for a red flag infringement. Obviously, nothing came of that because he didn't get a grid penalty or anything. So this was a weird situation. So they were going around a corner. I think it was the corner where George crashed. And Max was over here on the inside as, they were turning around. Colapinto was trying to move over because Gasly was going by in a flying lap and almost pushes Max into the wall. So that could have been bad. I feel like it's always bad juju messing with Max.
No kidding.
I feel like that's a lesson everyone knows.
George's crash wasn't really that bad. I quickly re-looked it up to watch.
None of them were that bad.
It was really just his way.
Yeah.
I kind of remembered the other two, and I'm like, how do I not remember my favorite driver's crash?
Because you block out anything he does wrong.
When does he do anything wrong?
We'll keep quiet.
Okay, on the racetrack sometimes, but he doesn't do anything really like fun.
Oh no, but like on the racetrack.
No. When he was younger, I can agree. He has some.
He's had moments in recent years too.
I know. I love George.
Anyways, on to qualifying.
This is kind of a story for the podcast. I love George, and Jamie knows that. So one night, Jamie set up a life-size George Russell cutout to jump scare me in the morning, and she started making it with Kai, who's been on the podcast before, friend of the podcast. And I walked out in the middle of the night to say goodnight to Jamie, and they both thought I was asleep. I don't even know if I saw Kai. But did I see Kai? I don't remember. I was tired.
What?
I don't think I did. Did I see Kai?
No.
Or did Kai? Was it a one? No. Okay. Yeah. I was like, good night, Jamie. I think Kai hit or something.
Yep.
And I wake up in the morning to go watch our race, and I get kind of jump scared by a T-posing George Russell in my door. And I think that just there's a video on TikTok that shows him. So it was like we did a vid where we were like, show an object the size of your driver, like or something.
And you just grabbed George.
George Russell.
Yeah.
That was a fun prank. They also pranked other roommate Annika with it, and Annika was not happy.
No. She was scared.
She got jump scared. Well, she's blind. Like,
yeah.
We're both pretty blind, but Annika's worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so Annika just thought it was a man. It was like ready to punch it.
Yeah. No, because remember we went to a party that night. You guys left early. I then left later, snuck off with Kai to go find cardboard, came back to the room, and Kai was hiding behind our chairs in the back corner with George as I was like standing there. I was so obviously like very awkward as I'm like standing there as Olivia goes night, and I was like, night!
The thing is when I'm asleep, I think a lot of things just kind of go, what?
Yeah.
And so, for those of you who didn't see, over my head. So, I probably just was like, that's Jamie. Jamie's peculiar sometimes. Moving on.
Yeah, probably.
Yep. Living with Jamie is really fun, guys. Just saying. I hope the other two are having a good time.
They're not used to some of the Jamie-isms, for sure. For sure.
Well, a lot of the Jamie-isms are isms that I'm used to and also just slightly participate in at a lesser extreme level. Mm-hmm. So for me, they weren't that weird.
By the way, I think it's Ella's favorite driver is Max, and technically so is Kylie.
Did she watch? Did Ella watch?
But no, it was really funny. We were in the car, and that's when you were texting me. I wanted to go to Hollister to see if they had the merch I wanted.
Oh, the Oscar jersey or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and so we were going grocery shopping plus that, and so Ella, they kind of heard about it all morning of the race and stuff because. Sometimes I just need to yap. I don't care if you listen.
Yeah.
Just let me yap. Like
you just need to get it out.
Just let me get it out. But I guess Ella listens, which was a little bit of a shock to me. Kylie walks away anytime I mention F1. Ella also asked questions. So like she asked why the cars
Ella
were
started to become active commenting on our TikTok.
She has so much fun with it because she's purposely trying to rage bait you.
Oh, it's not working.
And rage bait the internet too. She wants to start fights with people.
The internet one is funny. It's not gonna work because it's Ella, and I know what she's trying to do, and I like Ella too much to be annoyed.
But no, like when I was rewatching Quali last night, or not Quali, what was I watching? It was 2 nights ago when I was watching the first 2 free practice Friday night. Ella's like, why do the cars spark? And I was like, trying to figure out a way to explain it, and she's like, is it like a razor scooter? And I go, yeah, kind of. And so now she goes, razor scooter, whenever they spark.
Oh my god, you should film a TikTok asking her what is it and have her go, razor scooter, and just post it and see what happens.
And she really likes that there's doo-doo and pee-pee in her nicknames. And she really wants...
That is Ella, guys.
And she really wants them to get a 1-2.
They already have this season.
I said that, but she wants to, while she's given the nickname now.
Oh my god, Annika on the other nickname one went so aggressive.
Oh my god, you want to know why, Kylie, like, sent that text to Annika? Because, one, Kylie found out what was the filtered stuff, which it says we should have not filtered her.
No, we should have filtered her. There's certain things I don't need attached to my, like, name if someone were to look me up.
But, the thing was I was in the shower as she was sending me some of those text messages, and I was giggling about it, and Kylie was like, why the fuck is Jamie giggling in the shower?
Honestly, it's not that weird to hear you giggling in the shower. I feel like you text in the shower, like, more often than you think.
Yes, I do, because I bring my phone into the shower, because showers are very overstimulating, and so phone, comfy.
Fair enough.
Or music. If I can play music, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I play music mostly.
Anyways, on to qualifying. So...
Sorry.
I don't have the most notes because I wasn't paying super close attention. Because, fun fact, guys, neither of one of us watched Quali live. Because...
we had a busy weekend.
Olivia was at work, I was at practice, and trying not to die.
Yeah. So, we were both on pool decks.
Yeah, we were both on pool decks.
Yeah. Oh my god. Sorry, let me go past Jamie's 127 text messages in a row to find my quality notes, because I think I'm the one who took
Hey, I gotta go back to those text messages, because those are my notes for this. Yeah. I'm never gonna be able to text Olivia and write it down in my notes. Well, that's what Olivia's getting is my notes.
Yep.
So.
Well, honestly, I find that the easiest way to take notes. So anyway, I got spoiled at work, and by spoiled I mean I could do it.
So, you want to know, guys, you want to know what I was doing? We were doing a practice where I had a bunch of rest because our coach was purposely trying to make the lactic acid build up because we were doing more endurance-y stuff and more, like, longer race stuff. So she wanted the lactic acid to build up, which gave us a lot of rest. Which sucked later on, obviously, because you're pushing through it. But part of it involved getting out of the pool, walking around the pool deck, and getting back in, and also diving off of the blocks. And so both times, I would get up, grab my phone, because I'm usually the one that plays music, grab my phone, check the qualifying, put it down, go walk. I was constantly checking it.
No, okay, so Jamie, you're going to appreciate this. So I was coaching, it was the later group where I was able to finally take a break and look. Mm-hmm. And I took a look, so the set for the two older groups was 4 a.m. based. So the older group did a 4:50 with like an extra 50 of the stroke. Mm-hmm. And the younger group just did a full 4 a.m. and then some like cool down but like sprint work after that. And then we did that 4 times. Mm-hmm. So in the middle of like the second 4 a.m. I was like, hold up, I have some like I have 5 minutes until these kids come back. I'm gonna quickly take a peek. And quality was over at that point, which I kind of expected. So I was looking around like pretty late into my shift. So I got out at like 11:15, and so I probably looked around like 10:40, 10:45. No, sorry, 10:12. I lied. That must have been when they started the 4 a.m.s.
Yeah.
But I just text Jamie, hold up. And it was George on pole, which I did not expect because it's Singapore and Mercedes has not performed well in heat. Yeah. And Singapore is a hot track, so I was like, huh?
No, because as soon
also did well.
As soon as I saw that George got pole, I told Ella, Olivia's gonna be insufferable today. And then you said...
That bad?
You weren't that bad. But you sent me that text message, like, as we're, like, getting done with practice, and I go, yep, Olivia's becoming insufferable.
Well, the thing was, like, I wasn't... If I were watching live, I'm sure I would have been, but I was working. And, like, I actually do like to do my job. I actually had checked my phone. I think because my mother texted me about bringing my sister home or something.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't purposely checking for quality. It was just while I was there. I was like, do. Because the Red Sox were in the playoffs, so it was kind of acceptable to quickly look up sports scores over the past week. Even though the Red Sox aren't, so I kind of lost the excuse. But it's okay. My boss was fine with it. It's like, my sister swims where I coach, so I need to be able to, like, coordinate things. I said I'm thrilled, and then I went, I'm predicting Max and Oscar to crash lap 1, which low-key almost happened a little bit, just with Lando in the mix. I wasn't right. But, like, I was kind of close.
My guess was Max and George were going to take each other out lap 1. That was my true guess. Out of all of my guesses, that's what I thought was going to happen.
If Max survives that, Kimmy is going to take Max out.
Yeah.
In revenge. Which I still stand by, for the record. Oh, and then my mother got an F1 edit on TikTok. And so that was that conversation, how we concluded it. Because, afterward, I couldn't watch till even later because a town nearby had a book fair. And so I was able to get a bunch of books for dirt cheap. And there's some, like, decent new ones that I got. Because, like, the way it works is, like, brand new books for, like, $6 for, like, hardcovers. And the rest are either 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So I, and some were 1. So I was able to get, I want to say, 7 or 8 books for, $16. It was great. I was very happy.
Whereas, I left my room at 6:50 a.m. that morning and didn't get back until 5? So, I was gone all day, and that's when I watched quali.
So I got to where we started talking about it. So I actually found my notes for this guide. So I started talking about how much I like night races. They look cool.
I love night races. They're my favorite. Yeah. I will always choose a night race.
And then immediately Oscar gets angry about the yellow flag. That's the first note I get. Honestly, fair. I
have this written out because by far my favorite thing, just the intuition of how Oscar said it was the sassiest thing in the world, and I loved it. But what he said, he went, "Oh man, come on. You can't give a yellow flag for someone getting out of the way." Because he was on a fast lap, and the person who was, getting out of the way kind of went off the track, which they yellow flagged.
Of comment since he got impeded by Franco that one race, and it's like, Alpine hates me still.
Yeah.
The man flipped a switch there, and it's suddenly like, bah! I don't care. I respect it. I finally have realized how to use F1 TV, so I was watching George Cam, and George does not talk a lot on,
for shame.
Or, he's focused.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there listening to this engineer go, this time. And I'm like, all right.
But also, quali, they're not going to say much. It's more during the race.
Yeah, and I didn't get to watch the race one because of reasons. I might go back and listen to some of the things, but honestly, I don't even know if it's necessary because he was pretty comfortably in the lead for a good amount of it. So I'm probably not going to. And then Pierre, the last thing I have, I think, from P1 is Pierre's in a wall, but he wasn't. He just kind of got I don't know, he
went into the runoff because his steering wasn't, it was, stiff and not turning. So if he just kept going, he would have gone into a wall. So I also have that note. And then I have who was out in order from last to 14th. Not 14th. Oh my god. That's way too high 15. Up. 15. Gasly, Ocon, Colapinto, Stroll, Bortoletto.
No one that surprising.
No. Gabby's a little surprising.
I wasn't too shocked. I said something about Charles almost crashing.
Yeah, Charles slightly brushed the wall.
Yeah. This was Q2. I said, honestly, this is kind of boring. And then Kimmy almost crashed, and then he had the fastest lap for like a solid 2 seconds. And
yep.
I was like, huh?
And then Kimmy goes wide and loses his time.
Yeah. And then George brushed the wall. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh.
Okay, you're skipping to Q3. Shush. That didn't happen in Q2.
That's all I had from Q2 was ending with Kimmy. Yep. I had nothing on it. Sorry.
Charles, because of his brushing, kind of got like a front wing change. Otherwise, that is all I have too. But it's Tsunoda, Lawson, Sainz, Albon, Hulkenberg. Which, Nico hasn't been that high up for a while.
I'm so mad though. Because I have been putting 7 cars in Q3, 7 different teams in Q3 for weeks. And I finally switched it to 6.
I agree. I was so mad because it's been 6 like the past 2-3 weekends, and every time I put 7,
faith in Yuki or like someone else, I don't know. I put a little faith in someone. Nope, it wasn't founded.
And then this weekend we get a 7th, and it's just like, come on.
I'm just sticking to guns the rest of the season. If it's 7, I win.
Yeah.
If it's 6. I tried, because this is what happens when I try to, like, use data. It bites me in the butt.
Yeah, you did really bad in predictions. Both you and Kai.
Somehow. So, I don't know what Kai did, because we can't see each other's predictions.
Yeah.
But Kai did bad, too.
I was the only one that did decent in predictions. We don't need to talk about my fantasy team.
Oh my god, I lost to Kai by 1 point, and it's because they have the Max George combo, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, they also have Mercedes as a car.
I know, and Mercedes has been doing really well. I have McLaren as a constructor, which has been honestly doing pretty well for me, but Mercedes and Red Bull have picked it up, and Kai has Max. So that's been a ton of points.
I tried to be risky with more high-end drivers and more very, like, statistically, like, decent midfield. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes
she crushes us.
It's really high-risk, high-reward, like, situation when it comes to my fantasy team. Yeah. I think I'm the only one that's gotten negatives.
Yeah. Mine's consistent. I'm either first or second. I don't think I have been anything but first or second in this. Mm-hmm. It's just, and I'm normally first or second by like a smaller margin. So like my team itself is not that bad.
Yeah.
It's just, it's hard though because especially since Kai's team has like picked it up because
Max is doing well.
And Max have been killing it the past few races.
And I've literally, my downfall is Oscar hasn't been doing well. So I'm like, okay.
No, George has been carrying me big points right now.
It's gonna suck next year because no matter what, I'm gonna always have Oscar on my team, but he's gonna be so expensive next year if he does win. Like, this is gonna suck.
I should, like, change my drivers, but at this point, I'm committed to my team.
Yeah.
So, I think at the beginning of next season, we just draft and leave the team as is. I think that's what we've been doing for this season as well.
You got
Did you change anything around?
I did. I had Liam initially. And I also had Haas initially.
Fernando give me really good points. Or usually.
Yeah.
Like, decent points. When Fernando does well, he gives me crazy points. And it's great.
Yeah.
Like, Fernando gave me, like, 30 today.
30 was my highest with Oscar.
Wait, let me double check that. Fernando gave me crazy points today. But, my other guys, like, I have, like, Nico Hulkenberg. So when he did really well, they deleted my team, or my account for some reason, around, I had him for Silverstone.
Yeah. And
I got, like, crazy points from that. So, like, when that happens, it's great. Yeah. Why aren't we working? Whatever. I wanted to not show off my fantasy team. I think I also spelled lose wrong, and I hate that it's the leading thing, because I missed an O. It's just there. but whatever. It sits there and it haunts me every time, but I can't rename it, so I'm like, okay.
Oh, I somehow got 83 points in the end. Woohoo! That was from Lewis's 5-second penalty, that's why.
Yeah, Fernando got me 30 points today. Sauber got me -4, and Nico got me -8. Ollie and Alex both gave me 6, and McLaren gave me 64, and George gave me 70, because I have a multiplier on George.
So, my 2 times multiplier is on Oscar, so he gave me 38. Gabby gave me -1. That is my only negative. That just shows how bad, like, just everything else is. Isaac gave me 3. He would have been really good if he didn't have engine issues.
Oh, the engine problems is totally why.
Charles gave me 16, Alex gave me 6, Racing Bulls gave me 16, and Williams gave me 5.
Yeah. Kai is getting... So, Mercedes got 67 as the constructor today. George got 70, because they have the times 2 multiplier on George. And then Max got them 27. And then the rest are 3, 3, -1, -4. So it's that triangle.
Yeah. But anyways.
Anyway,
Q3. George brushes the wall, but is still zooming. That's what I said.
Oh my God, I think he went out first, too, right? Like, he got the first lap on the board, broke the lap record, brushed a wall.
Yep.
And it would have been the fastest lap the next time, but we can talk into his second lap afterward.
But
I'm sitting there like, George.
Oscar also brushes the wall in, like, the same exact spot George did. Like...
The announcer said he did it for the pizzazz, and I thought that was really funny, so I texted Jamie about it.
And then I went Oscar pizzazz, which I thought was really funny.
Listen, Jamie and I have, like, the same sense of humor, so you might not find it funny, but we do.
we do. I then was distracted while watching this, so I don't write it down any notes until George Pate takes pole, so this is on you now.
Yeah. Well, he already had pole, but George improved by .007, I think, in his second lap, and he still would have won.
Yeah.
Max was not happy because there was some traffic, but honestly, the traffic didn't look that bad. I think he was being a bit dramatic.
Yeah. And then he wouldn't talk to Lando after the race, so I don't know.
So dramatic. And I'm like, I was watching the onboard where they re-showed it, and I'm like, I text Jamie, I'm confused about where he got impeded.
I think it was more of he was in, like, dirty air because Lando was purposely, like, sticking 2 seconds ahead of him, which isn't a slipstream, like, area. Yeah. It's more of a dirty air area, and so that kind of, like, slowed him down.
I'm sorry. That's strategy. You're in a battle. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Calm down. You would have done the same thing, Max, and you know it. You can calm down.
But yeah,
I know that he has a chance in drivers, which I don't think he has, like, a chance, but he has a chance.
His chances, I think they said he needs to take 10 points out of Oscar every race, but he only took 6 out of Oscar this time. So that means the next races he needs to take, like, 11 points out of. So, like, it's getting there. Yeah. It's getting to that point.
I mean, it's certainly possible. I just think it would be really hard.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't necessarily see that happening.
Unless Darkside Oscar starts ramming right into Lando.
The same thing. What?
I said unless Darkside Oscar starts ramming right into Lando double DNF, like...
The way McLaren's treating them both, if they just go like this every time, I'm gonna laugh so hard.
It would be very funny.
Like, mate, we gotta ruin the team. They keep treating us like this. That's a terrible Australia.
That was more British than anything!
No, this is British. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Alright.
But in the end...
And his interview afterward was so funny, because he was asking about who competed him, and he went, well, it wasn't
Oscar. It was not Oscar.
To the other papaya.
But, like, it was also funny because they didn't know they were doing this new weird interview format where all of them were, like, there together with their mics live. And Max Max was yapping to Oscar and looked so offended when he got told he couldn't. But then proceeded to, like, tap the mic to see if it was, like, actually, like, on. Didn't get any feedback and proceeded to continue chatting with Oscar.
Max is a yapper. I'm sorry. That man, if he's in driver's room, you hear him, he's always talking to people. Like, that man just yaps.
Because then he gets interviewed.
Oh, I also need to reveal to the world that Charles Leclerc is one of us in terms of, like, memes.
Yeah.
Because I totally caught him. Not even purposely, I just happened to follow him. But I was watching one of the, like, meme accounts that, like, do, like, comics and stuff about F1, and it's just followed by Charles Leclerc. I'm like,
But...
And then Charles is becoming too self-aware is something I noted down.
Mm-hmm. In Oscar, like, in the interview afterwards, Max does his whole, it was not Oscar. They're all trying not to giggle, especially Oscar. Oscar's trying to keep his cool. Does not work. Then Oscar gets interviewed, and then George gets interviewed again, and Max immediately goes back to talking to Oscar. Literally taps the mic again, and immediately goes...
we forgot to mention this. The interview on Thursday, where they were being asked about Max's driver's chances, and everyone else is like 10, 15, 20%, and George just looks dead at Lando and goes, 100.
Oh, yeah.
My diva. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that Max just would not talk to George and was only cared about talking with Oscar. he went,
Oscar,
I'm mad.
Well, no, George and Max are a divorced couple. So, you know.
But anyways, the race. So, I'm, even right now, running on like 5 hours of sleep. Because I didn't go to bed early last night. And then I woke up at 6:30 to like kind of watched the pre-show / I need that time to settle in before the race starts.
One of my lights is possessed in here, I'm sorry. So there's one light, and it's not dead, so I don't want to replace it. But it keeps just flashing on and off, but like on random intervals, so I'll have it on for like a whole day, and then it's off the next day, and then it's on for like 30 minutes, and then it's off for 2, and then it's back on, and this one's been off, so I'm like, maybe it's finally dead, and it just lit up, and I was like, nope, I guess you're alive still.
Yeah,
so... It's too lazy to change it, even though we have light bulbs in the other room.
Olivia was responding to my messages in the beginning, because I'm assuming you were like getting ready or something.
Yeah, I was getting ready. I was jealous that you got to watch, and that George is on pole again. This is the second time this season. 2 times George has been on pole this season. This one, and I'm not able to watch live. I'm wearing a George shirt. Like, come on, let me have this.
But it starts off with the top 10. The only people who are on softs are Max, Fernando, and Isaac, which is interesting. The soft strategy was like, I don't think it really worked for anyone trying to get that
Lance
quick speed.
40 laps on softs.
No, oh yeah, Lance did. Yeah, that was weird. The track was slightly damp because it had rained earlier, which I know Lando later in his interview, when like asked about the whole incident, was like, yeah, the track was still kind of damp. But race starts. Anyone who is on the left-hand side does not get a good start, because it's like dusty and dirty over there. So that means that's like Max, Kimmy. Like, stop! Just ignore it. Ignore it.
I am sorry. It's hard. It's like laughing all those.
Those are the people that don't get really good jumps. I thought at first, I was like ready to type this. I thought like Lando was just gonna get past Kimmy, and that was it. I thought Oscar seemed pretty fine because Oscar almost got past Max, but then all of a sudden Lando comes barreling in, and I thought Lando was gonna push Oscar into the wall. In the end, Oscar did not hit the wall, but Lando did hit Oscar. And so Lando got damage to his wing plate on that side, so it was like slightly out. You could see it the whole race. Like, you could tell.
Yeah.
But
he got asked about it in the cool down room.
Yeah.
By George. Yeah.
Well, and then they cut.
Yeah. Why did you do that? Why couldn't you let me over here?
I wanted to know. But I don't think in the end Oscar had any damage from that incident. I think it was only Lando. And so Kimi also had a bad start, fell to 6th. And so how it had happened was Lando got too close to Max, hit the backside of Max, which caused his tire to, like, turn, which turned into Oscar.
Yeah.
And so Oscar was not a happy camper.
Fair.
And I think it's completely reasonable. But he was like, that's not very team-like. Are we okay with Lando just barging into me like that? Did you just realize?
Hold up. I thought you texted that earlier, and I went, that sounds like a really familiar
You now remember?
And you just said the quote, that's not really team-like, and I went, oh my god. Flashback.
Just so you know, we have outside, this is like a running joke in our friend group, that phrase. Like, that is a running joke.
Like, actually, like a pretty big running joke. It's something we're not able to share the story because it involves people outside our friend group who probably do not have consent for us to talk about this because I don't think they even know they are a running joke.
But yeah.
I don't think it wasn't very team-like. I think he literally just bounced off Max.
And I think...
But if you look at Oscar's onboard, it doesn't look like that.
And that was the thing. Because, like, when I'm typing all of this, they didn't do, like, any of the replays. They didn't know the reason. All I saw was one Oscar's onboard. So I saw it with that, and I also saw it on the main, like, screen. And so I was surprised with that they were airing all of Oscar's grievances on the live. I thought some of them they wouldn't, but they aired all of them.
He was mad.
I was like, Oscar's mad. This is like mad Oscar.
Exactly. Are we going through the same part of the text?
Yeah, but Lando was really fast, I would say, almost the whole race. Like, he was on Max's tail. I like Olivia.
We'll get into that, one of those conversations later, because I do have thoughts on that, because there was obviously other stuff that went on in the race.
I like how Olivia, she texted me going, George still P1? Because I was texting her not about George, because I was like, I don't care about George. He's, like, off in the distance. And then I go, yeah, and immediately start talking about something else.
So this is probably the big thing to talk about for this weekend, is the McLaren drama and the hitting. And I just want to say McLaren treats their own drama. I don't think this is on either of the drivers. I think I've been saying this for the past 4 weeks now. This is on McLaren as a team being horrible at management. Honestly, I think at this point they need to stop it with their stupid papaya rules, because I think this was my exact conversation with you with the bad pit in wherever it was. The bad pit where they made Oscar and Lando swap for second and third. Yeah. Where it was like, it's because of the standard they had previously set to where it was okay. But, like, in general, I wouldn't expect that, you know? But because
I think the problem is they've gone too far from the initial thing of the papaya rules. Because, like, Oscar stated in an interview, like, that's been brought up a lot today, like, on social media, where he literally said, papaya rules, the only rule is that they don't hit each other, which that pit stop is not counted in that rule. And so they've just kind of gone too far from the initial, like, plot of what papaya rules is.
What the actual rules are. Yeah. I mean, I just think McLaren has done a terrible job with this, because you're setting up an unfair standard to where now the drivers are going to be, like, keeping track of, like, what grievances are approved of and what are against. And so, like, people argue that one is being favored over the other, like, every race.
But I think
Lando and Oscar.
I
actually do think it's even.
I don't know if it's they're getting favored or they're just not doing well either way.
I think that's the issue. They're just not doing a very good job. I do think things like, I mean, I don't want to use Ferrari as an example, right? But we've seen Lewis and Charles this season be given orders to swap a few times and swap back and, like, do that. And granted, they're in a very different position than what McLaren is. But the way Ferrari does it, I think, has been more reasonable, which I hate saying because it's Ferrari.
But the problem is they don't want to pick a first driver because they have the two drivers that have the potential to be in a champion, like, in the championship running. Whereas, like, if you look at Mercedes, Kimi's obviously not going to be in the championship running. It's easy to pick George.
Why I picked
Max,
Ferrari as well, though, because Charles and Lewis, you're not going to pick one over the other.
Yeah.
Like, you are going to face, like,
but I
think a 7-time world champion and you have Charles, like.
I think if it would come down to something similar where, like, Charles and Lewis were 1-2, I think they would also give this racing rule where they can race.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, obviously a lot of things are...
that's why I'm trying to, like, it's different, but we can see them listening to some orders where it's like, okay, like, if Lewis has a better shot at... Granted, they're not in a position for a world championship, so I know it's very different. Like, for them, they are strictly fighting for positioning constructors.
I think the biggest problem with this whole thing is it's kind of giving a history repeats itself situation. I think it was, I want to say, like, 2009. Whatever, when Kimi Räikkönen... Was it Kimi? Yeah, it was. Won his championship. It was actually because... two McLarens, they kept fighting and they couldn't handle they wouldn't prioritize one, which caused Kimi to win. And that same thing is now happening with Max.
The history book is always repeating.
And it's so, I know Lando in his interviews, he's very scared of the decision happening of, like, we're prioritizing. But it's, some part of me, it might just need to. If McLaren wants to get both the drivers, I think Max needs to get a little bit closer before this is going to ever happen.
The thing is, I think if you do ultimately prioritize the driver, you're losing one of the drivers.
They're stuck. They're not going to leave.
They're stuck in contract. But if you have a driver who's pissed about being there, are they even going to try that hard?
Yeah.
You don't know. You think so?
Yeah, their only goal is to win.
Fair. Okay.
Like, I don't think so. I also just think Oscar and Lando are reasonable. Like, clearly today they were reasonable in the end. Like, I think...
Not Lando. Oscar still seemed a little mad at the end.
But I don't think he's mad at Lando. That's what I mean. I don't think they're ever gonna be super mad at each other.
I don't think they take it out on each other. I think they take it out on the team.
Unless it's a full...
I think it's fair because they're doing an awful job.
I think unless it's a full-on, like, Spain 2016 situation where, like, it's clearly they're going right into each other and they take each other out. I don't think they're gonna be that mad at each other.
I actually agree with that. I think the two of them themselves are fine. I think it's the standard McLaren has set where, like you're saying, they've overdone papaya rules so much to where it's like, blah, 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 where you're now expecting these swaps for you and everything because it's unfair, even though there's certain things to where, like, I think Lando's move was good. I actually don't think it's unfair. I know Oscar did the same thing in, like, Monza last year where they didn't swap it. Like, and all of that rationally makes sense, right? And when you look at it that way, it's a bit different. But also, you think in the last couple races to where it's like, oh, we swapped this, oh, we swapped that, da-da-da-da-da. It suddenly starts to feel like
there is something I do want to preface, where with the swapping, Oscar actually never asked for a swap. He was never the one that asked for it.
He was just
when his engineer told him, like, that he ran into Max, and, like, the stewards weren't gonna go forward with it, it was his engineer that said, like, we're not gonna swap also. And so, like, Oscar never asked for a swap, and I feel like a lot of people on the internet are like, oh, Oscar asked for a swap, Monza, blah, blah.
You know what?
It's like,
I misunderstood that. You're right. I don't think it ever came up where he directly asked for a swap or anything. He was just like, that's not very team-like.
He literally was just complaining. And being like, honestly, that is unfair.
Low-key, I think about the road rage I get, and I'm like, I was just such a monster in that car. I would be so bad. And you know how there's, like, interviews where it's like, I'm not even, like, a real Oscar fan. I like Oscar. Oscar's, like, one of my, like, he's definitely in my top 10 drivers. I like Oscar a lot. But, like, Oscar is so me-coded in certain circumstances towards, like, I would lose my mind over certain things like that in a car. I would sing to myself while I'm driving. You know? Like, just small things to where I'm like, I get it, you know? And I would say, like, I probably am more biased towards Lando because I prefer Lando. But for this race, I was actually becoming a big Oscar defender because my dad's a huge Oscar hater. And was like, why is he complaining? Da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, well, from his perspective, they showed the onboard on the screen. It looks like he got hit. And they've been doing, like, I'm like, and McLaren is, like, big on team orders and everything. And granted, that was still not, like, misunderstanding, but I'm like, I get it, because, like, if I don't have the full story, I feel like they didn't necessarily explain to him fully what had happened because he's in the car. I, too, would be really mad. So for this one, I felt it was valid. Just like how I felt, that crash-up was valid, and I think I would have been really annoyed if they asked to swap back, because I think it's starting to get a bit ridiculous how many orders they're doing to do that. But, like, I don't know. I also, like, I get it.
But yeah, moving on from the McLaren stuff, since that's first lap. George got out on a pretty good lead. Alonso was severely holding up the pack. It was like, it was so funny because you had the top
thread we talk about.
You had, like, all of the top runners, like, off in the distance, and then it's Alonso and this train behind him. And I was like, Isaac just needs to get in front of him. He would be so much better just in front of him. And then, like, there started to become some pitting. Yuki pitted for another set of, it was a hards. I thought it was soft, but it's hards. So Yuki was, like, kind of the first to pit. Then Franco comes in. Lando was going to try to undercut Max, and then McLaren went stay out, and then they never went back in, and Max ended up getting in front of, like, pitted before him, which meant they needed to now overcut him. Which I really wonder if that undercut would have worked. We'll never know.
I was reading through the text messages because yours are much more thorough than mine.
But yeah, I don't know why they just were like, nah, let's not. All of a sudden,
I totally missed what you said. I have no clue what we're talking about.
About that Lando was gonna undercut Max, and then McLaren went, never mind.
Oh, I think that was a prank. I think they were trying to get Red Bull to pit.
No, because I think the undercut probably would have been better.
I think so too, but also Lando's tires were really good at that point.
Yeah.
I think they actually wanted to do the overcut, but with the pit stop thing with Leclerc, it became difficult to actually execute that, which I think played into that strategy, because Lando initially, I think his tires were fine. He was like, initially going to let Oscar go first, and I think had a moment of trauma, and like, no, he went, yes, no. Like, it was immediate.
He was so immediate.
Yeah, and I genuinely think they were probably going to try to go for the overcut.
Yeah.
Hi. What? Sorry. For Mom? Yeah, I do. Jamie, keep yapping. I'm just going to turn off the camera.
So, at that moment, the McLarens were faster than George. George was losing his tires. And they were cutting into George's lead. Because then Max pitted, obviously. We kind of went through that. And Oscar was kind of like slightly better than Lando. Like, slightly, but very little. Charles eventually pits to hold off Kimi. And Max is always complaining. He was complaining about that car the entire freaking race, but that's not unusual.
That's all his radio messages were.
He was complaining.
Oh my god, one of the funniest messages of the race was like, Lando was like, oh, I'm struggling in the dirty air, and his race engineer goes, well, Max is struggling in the clean air, so carry on.
I was like, damn!
Funny, I'm sorry.
Mercedes, I was like, the McLaren tires are starting to do the McLaren tires thing, where they were like, we can hold on. And Mercedes was warning George of the threat of McLaren. Lewis pitted, allowed Max to then be in free air, which really helped him stay in front of Lando. We all know the Astons were being very weird, and they were holding out those softs.
I need to make sure I talk about this before I forget. I know this is a little early, but I don't know if this is purposeful on Aston or what. The commentators seem to think it was, where they had Lance go like 40 laps on soft, basically because again, this is a little ahead. Fernando had a really slow pit, and so they're thinking the strategy was, because it's super hard to pass in Singapore, Lance just held everybody up so he could catch back up with the back of the pack.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, that's one really funny strategy and two good strategy.
Yeah, and so Lando then pits. He wants to pit first in front of Oscar. Oscar goes in. In all caps.
Oh my god.
I go, Isaac has an engine issue. And I was so mad. I was like, God damn it. Every single time.
Isaac.
But, as Oscar's going into the pits, guess what McLaren does again? Another 5-second pit stop. Again.
Oh my god. So we were watching it, my dad and I. And he goes, he's like, the radio message came up, and my dad's like, good, because if the second person who goes in for McLaren is going to have a terrible pit stop or whatever, right? Like, he says that, and then Oscar goes in and has a terrible pit stop, and he's like, see?
Yeah.
And then like,
I was like,
this is not a good reputation to have, McLaren.
Yeah. And I was just like, what is going on? And it wasn't even the same, like, tire guy. It was the back left. Like, it was a whole different one.
On the back left? Like, what happened?
I don't know. But luckily, this didn't screw over and get Charles ahead of Oscar. Like, it was still fine. Fernando then had a 9.2 second pit stop right after.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's what we were kind of talking about.
And then I told...
He was pissed, by the way. Fernando was on something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he was like, shut up or I'm, like, turning off the radio. Like, stop talking to me. Ollie did a really risky late break move to pass Alex. He literally, like, Alex was, like, kind of turning, and Ollie just goes, woof! And then turns, and he gets past, so really did it. Yeah. What's next? Oh! The commentators were saying that Max is single-handedly helping Oscar win the championship.
Yeah.
Because of Max doing so well, that hasn't been allowing Lando to get as many points as he usually does. So now when Oscar's behind Lando, they're only changing up the points by 3 points instead of before it was like by 7 points. So Max
I mean, it's making the end season more interesting.
Yeah.
I can respect.
And then they got boring. As per, I'm bored, give me the safety car I was promised. Bunch the top 4 together, let me see what happens. Yep, it got boring. Oscar sounds so done. He literally went like, tires are fine. Like, he sounded so done when his engineer asked him that. Williams, Stroll, and Liam were going really long. The Williams were on medium, so was Liam, but Stroll was on softs.
Makes sense because they got. Did we talk about the?
They got I didn't. They got disqualified.
Yeah, I don't think we did. Because their wings.
Their rear wings didn't pass inspection, so they got disqualified, and they started 17th 18th and 20th.
They started 18th and pit.
Yeah.
Anyway, they clearly did that in case of the safety car window, because then if the safety car happened, they would have been able to save a bunch of time and kind of pull out in the same spot, which is correct strategy.
Yeah. They did what they needed to. Max locks up and almost went into the wall, but saved himself.
Oh, that was scary.
But that allowed George to pull ahead 5 seconds. Max was pretty close behind him before that. There was some nice battling between the middle of the pack of Alonso and Isaac, like trying to.
That one was nice.
Isaac was really trying with his broken engine, like, to keep Alonso behind him. Lando then started, or Oscar then started really cutting into Lando because they were hitting the back of the pack.
So this is something I wanted to talk to you about because people were talking about, well, if Oscar didn't have that pit, would he have been able to pass Max and Lando? And I think the answer is just we never know. Because people are like, oh, he would have beaten them both. But you don't know that because of pack traffic. And then he actually has to take the move to get past.
I think it would have more have been, they would have been in a DRS train with Max in the front.
Yeah, I think so too.
In all honesty,
that's what I was thinking.
maybe Oscar would have been mad and made a risky move on Lando. Like, there could have been some of that.
I would have seen a crash, honestly.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't know that, and I don't like... this is just a personal, like, pet peeve of mine, where it's like, if this driver didn't have this long of a pit stop, they would have finished there. I'm like, you don't know that.
You don't know.
Past the person in front of them.
Yeah.
And if they're good at like Max is great at defense. Lando had the pace, but Max is just there like.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know that. Plus, you're hitting both backs of the pack. They were split up by like 50 seconds. Like, you have to get through that as well. It's just like you don't know anything because like even if you're trying to get through the back of the pack. The announcers are saying this very clearly, like, it's harder for Max than it was for Lando because Max is, like, pushing his way through, whereas Lando is close enough behind to follow. Whereas for, like, Oscar, maybe he would have gotten close enough to follow, or maybe they just would have bumped back in front of him, and then he'd have to clear his own path through again. Like,
yeah, you never know.
You don't know that. It depends where you... Track position for blue flags is so important, and you just don't know.
Yeah. I really like my message of, oh my god, that sounded like Max looked like this. I gotta show this emoji. It's like the, like, very begging emoji when he said, please help to his engineer, to keep Lando behind, which was so funny. Because immediately after, Lando makes the dirty air comment and his engineer goes, well, Max is struggling in clean air.
I think that might have been my favorite radio. That was no, it wasn't. I like Fernando's radios, but that one was really funny.
Yeah, Lando seemed to start like kind of losing his rear a little bit. He was a little wiggly.
He was struggling with
little wiggly. I said at this rate, I think Williams is saying "F you" and never pitting.
Which there.
So they're hitting the back of the pack. We might get a VSC or a yellow flag was because, what was it?
Was it the Nico spin?
Was it Nico that, Nico's fin goes off, and I thought...
I did not expect that.
They left it out there, which that's why I thought there would be like a yellow flag or a virtual safety car to go pick it up, but they left it there because it was off the racing line. So...
also, Nico was able to get back in and just continue racing.
Yeah. But there was so much happening. There, like, in that, like, couple seconds, like, Alex locks up, allowing Fernando by. Colapinto F's up, allowing Kimi through. Then Colapinto takes off Nico's end plate. Alex slightly impeded Oscar, or Oscar was just in a pissy mood.
That was not shown on the main broadcast, so I think Oscar was just in a pissy mood.
Yeah.
I think he's had a rough few weekends, and he's on a vacation.
He was like, I'm done. Lando started them becoming in DRS of Max, because of being in the back of the pack. Yeah. Hulkenberg locked up and went into the runoff.
Honestly.
So.
Hulkenberg, yeah. Oh, then what was? I don't know.
George is complaining about the back of the pack.
Which fair? He's pushing through, and it's always hardest for the first person to go through.
Yeah.
So, like, I get
it. Gaps are closing in. Lewis pitted for softs because I think. What?
I know why. They mentioned that on the broadcast. Or like a radio message or something came up. And basically they did that because, I mean, I think his tires were starting to fall off and his car had pace. So they were like, oh, if we do this, like we put you on softs, like there's a chance you can go and overtake Kimi.
Oh, that's what I thought anyways.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
I literally said it.
Did you?
Well, I said he went on to softs to try in his last stint because the pack had been so pushed back.
It was like there was like a 45-second gap between him and the next person. So it made sense.
He had the ability to do it.
Yeah.
And
it kind of almost worked, if not for the end, which we'll get to at some point.
So then, oh no, my notes. Oh no, I just realized, why did I send that text message? Now I gotta scroll all the way back up.
What have you done?
I know.
Alright, well, Lando and Max made it out of the back of the pack and were in the free air, and Oscar was still stuck for a bit, but at that point Oscar had made it within 5 seconds. Liam and Carlos finally pitted around lap 50. And that was around the...
I'm sorry, I just read the note of Oscar. I think Oscar was just done by the end because he literally said, I don't think this was shown on the radio. I know this happened. He goes, man, this race is so much fun. And his engineer's like, Oscar, you still have a chance. There's still race left. He was done. Anyways, now you can keep going.
Yeah. So George hit around the second group of back-enders. I'm skipping over that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what that message is.
Carlos finally pitted, and they never showed this on the broadcast. But Carlos, between now and the end of the race, makes up a crazy amount of spaces to get into points.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he does overtaking in Singapore because he was on such good pace.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. And around this time, also, Fernando's overtaking people. And they're just also not showing that. Because Fernando gets back up into, like, 8th at that point. So, they don't really show that.
Then it gets to, like, 5 laps left. And I was like, unless Lando does something risky, the podium's going to be George, Max, Lando. Like...
No. There was another interesting thing.
Oh, the Ferraris and their brakes. Both of their brakes were just like, no.
Talk about.
Okay.
No, okay, I found it. I remember it. Okay. So.
Girl, we gotta be quick. I have like 15 minutes.
Okay, I thought Red Bull should have done this. They were talking about how Isaac should potentially just weasel himself back in between Max and Lando for the blue flag reign and try to hold Lando up because he's going to be probably Max's teammate. And I thought that was a really funny idea and really wanted it to happen, and then it didn't. Anyway.
Yeah, and so the race ends pretty much as is.
The brakes.
But yeah, the brakes are weird. Their brakes went out. Not a surprise. It's a Ferrari thing. Like...
Fernando was pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they also, like, slowed dramatically down, so it was clearly a problem with both Ferraris. And it was great, because Kimi got back ahead of them around this time, too. Mm-hmm. So, I was happy about that.
McLaren got the constructors. They won that.
At what cost?
There was also a moment where Zach was, like, congratulating Oscar for, like, the constructors, and Oscar just takes helmet off, walks.
I genuinely think his problem is with the team right now.
Oh, 100%.
Because they've been really frustrating this race, and last race, and the race before, and the race before that. You know, since, like, Silverstone, I feel like they've been kind of, like, imposing their will a bit too much, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
But they get the constructors.
That's the standard they set up, so they need to deal with that consequence. Anyway, Jamie's not wearing McLaren gear today because she's angry.
I'm angry, so I'm wearing my Max gear.
George T posed.
Yeah, George T's posed, which is not shocking. They were all laying on the ground after, which is also not shocking.
Did you see the interviews? Max was not in a cooling outfit, and he honestly looked like completely fine. Then you have George just like
drenched.
And then Lando looked pretty, like, not as warm, but very warm as well. And then Max, without his vest, is sitting there. And again, George looks like he's dying.
Yeah.
Just like, he like sits down on the floor for a minute while like, Max is getting food and everything. Like, Singapore is not kind to you.
Max was left alone in the driver's room for like 2 minutes. Lando and George took forever. And then as soon as George asks Lando about Oscar, they cut away to the podium, and I was so mad.
The thing is they totally could have showed it because they know that's essentially being broadcast, so it's not going to say anything bad. So, like, why wouldn't you show it?
Yeah. Annoying.
But also, they do cut off driver interviews all the time, so I don't think it was anything, like, too secretive. But they started talking about Ferraris being terrible today, and I was giggling.
Mm-hmm. Typical fashion of them.
Yeah.
But yeah. The race was... The first lap was the most interesting part, and then the race is the race. Kind of the rest of it.
This race angered me. I'm thrilled because George won. And
yeah.
The overwhelming emotion. But I already wasn't a McLaren fan, but they really just pissed me off today. Today was the day I went, I'm over this. Just stop. Just stop, please.
I might start going to the dark side and rooting for Red Bull.
Red Bull?
I like Max, and Isaac will be there next year.
That's fair. Okay, so next year you might just become a Red Bull fan.
Yeah, still, like, root for Oscar in the end, but...
Okay. To summarize, because I know you have to get going soon. Give George his contract. I get we're still negotiating, and it's almost confirmed. It's practically confirmed he's coming back to Mercedes.
Yeah.
It's just they're figuring out the end of the contract. But honestly, I don't know why you wouldn't want to just sign this man for a long-term contract.
Because
I don't get it.
Toto wants to have other options.
He is driving better than the other options other than Max. And honestly, since Max is starting to perform well, I don't see him leaving Red Bull. So it's like... Because they support him in everything. So just sign George. I think George is probably he's easily like one of the top drivers on that grid.
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't sign him. But whatever. Whatever.
It happens. But
anyway,
I think he'll get signed eventually.
Oh, I know. I'm very confident he'll get signed. That's not what I'm worried about, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just annoyed that he hasn't been confirmed signed. But honestly, Kimi hasn't been confirmed signed either.
No.
So it's like...
Yeah.
And I know Mercedes is, like, infamous for signing late.
Yeah.
So it's, like, not that shocking, but it's annoying. I don't know, driver of the day for you? It was hard.
Carlos.
I give it to George.
Carlos.
I'm like, no.
Oh my god.
I give it to George because I'm biased. I know the person who won was Fernando. I think it's because he was funny.
My favorite...
I'm talking about throwing his mic.
My favorite radios are any of Oscar's. They were all great. He was on one this weekend. On one. But...
I mean, again, in terms of that, it looked worse on Oscar's cam. That's probably why he was really upset.
Yeah.
Also, don't know what happened with the team celebration thing. I
don't want to talk about it.
Think about
it. I don't want to talk about it.
To think about it.
Out of sight, out of mind. He looked happy with Lando later. And that's all that I care about.
Yep. And it's all McLaren's fault that they have an angry driver, and even though they won the championship, I'm sure they have a very awkward chat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways.
I think that's about it.
That's the Singapore Grand Prix. I hope you guys liked this, even though it was a little rushed in the end because I am a busy woman. But this will be posted on...
Oh, sorry, part of why you're busy is because I made us start late. So, it evens out. You don't need to feel bad.
But this will be posted on Spotify and YouTube. Go check out any of our other videos on there. We also do short form video content on TikTok and Instagram. Instagram, not the greatest app, but we do post it there. And then Olivia also gives her fun thoughts on Blue Sky Twitter and Threads. So go follow us all over there on 2OJ Podcast, 2OJ Pod, or OJ Podcast. And see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Bye!